everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thanks so much for watching this video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the perfect summer romances to get you in the mood for summer. It's June now, so it's a perfect time to get into the romance, the summer vibe. And I've read a few the past few weeks and I want to share those with you. So let's get into it. Okay, the first book I want to talk about has been talked about already, like all over. I've seen it on BookTok, I've seen it on Bookstagram, it's everywhere, and as it should be. It's Happy Place by Emily Henry. I have so many good things to say about this book. If you haven't read any of Emily Henry's other books, you definitely should check those out. I've read, I think, all of her books now. People We Meet on Vacation, Beach Read, Book Lovers. They're all so good. And it's like, okay, my friend and I were talking about this. It's like her books are so predictable, but it's like the perfect scenarios. They're always, I don't know, they're just like the perfect summer read. Like they really are. They have everything you're looking for, and this book does all of that. So this book follows Harriet and Win, who were in a relationship for like 8 years, and it follows like them and then their group of friends, like college friends, and every year they get together and they go to Maine for like a week. They stay at one of the girls' parents' like houses in Maine, and it's just, the setting is so cute. Like, how can you not fall in love with Maine in the summer? It makes me want to go like right now. So it's the summer and they're all going to Maine for the week. Harriet and Win are not going together. They end up going separately because they're not together anymore. They were engaged and they broke off their engagement, but their friends don't know that. So now they have to go and pretend to be together for the week because they don't want to let their friends down. They don't want to like ruin this week that's supposed to be like fun, good times. And so they're having to pretend that they're a couple, they're staying in the same room. And of course, this brings back memories and feelings, and it is just so good. Like I said, like it is, you know, it's predictable. You know what's going to happen at the end. You already know. But I don't care. Like that doesn't matter. There was something so perfect to me about this book. And I think it was like partly how the characters are written. I loved like the banter back and forth between not even just Harriet and Win. Like, yes, that banter was so good, but I loved the friendships that they had. The friends and like just the whole setting. Like I loved it so much. This book felt so comforting to me. And usually I feel like a book that I know is like a predictable romance, I'm like, yeah, it's good, like nothing great. But no, I ate this book up. Like I wanted to savor it. I didn't even want to like fly through it. I wanted to like just like keep reading so that I could be like consumed by this world for like a longer amount of time. And I think that's when you know a book is good, when like you don't want to finish it because like you want to be in this world. And that's how I felt reading this book. So I highly recommend. It's 5 out of 5 stars for me. Okay, then another book I read recently is Practice Makes Perfect by Sarah Adams. This book is about Annie and Will. Annie lives in Rome, Kentucky, and she owns a flower shop. She's set on finding like the perfect man that she can marry, have babies with, like that is what she's looking for. But then unexpectedly, Will comes into her life and teaches her how to date, how to find the man that she's looking for, because she can't seem to find that. All the guys she goes on dates with think she's boring, or like she doesn't know how to go on dates, like she doesn't know how to interact with these guys. So Will is the bodyguard of Annie's future sister-in-law, Amelia, and Amelia kind of sets it up so that Will is going to be the guy to help Annie do this. It's basically he's like tutoring her into how to date. It soon turns into more than just how to date and dating lessons, and it turns more into Will and Annie falling for each other and kind of hiding their feelings for each other. Will having to come to terms with, if she goes on a date, am I going to be okay with that? And spoiler alert, he's not. Will doesn't want a relationship like that. He doesn't want to settle down with the girl, so him and Annie being together just isn't really possible. They're not meant for each other in that aspect. But there's so many feelings there. There's some tension, sexual tension going on that like they want to explore, but it's not even worth exploring because they're never going to be able to be together because they want two different things. I think that this might be like a standalone sequel to another book, because I know that there's a book that's set in Rome, Kentucky. I think it's called When in Rome. So I want to read that book. I don't know if that's connected to this book or not, but I get the feeling that it is, because I think there might be a book about Amelia and then Annie's brother getting together. So I haven't read that, but this book, it was good. It wasn't anything crazy. I didn't necessarily love it, but I flew through it. Like, I'd probably rate it a 4 or 4.5 out of 5. I think, like, if you're looking for just a fun beach read, you know, to take to the beach, like, it's definitely good. It doesn't give me like, oh my god, like I love this world. I think maybe I couldn't connect to the characters as much. One thing I will say about this book though is the cover. It drives me insane. Like, the tattoos are just so bad. Like, I am not a fan of this cover, but other than that, the book was good. Okay, the next book I read is It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey, and I read this on my Kindle, so I don't have the physical copy with me, but this book was so good. I've seen this cover everywhere for like the past year probably, and I've wanted to read it, but I just never got around to it. So I decided to download it on my Kindle, and I'm so glad I did. It's the perfect summer romance, and it has the steam, it has like the love, it has the summer vibes, like everything is there. It's so good. So this book follows Piper and Brendan, and Piper is actually based on Alexis from Schitt's Creek. Like, she's a Hollywood socialite. She doesn't really have a job. Her job is just kind of like posting and partying. She gets her money from her stepdad, who's just super rich. When she gets in trouble with her stepdad, he basically cuts her off, and he's like, you're gonna go live in this small town near Seattle. And basically the small town that she's going to is where her dad, who has died, where her dad and her mom used to live, and she goes and stays. So her stepdad sends her there to learn a lesson basically, and she goes and she is like so not in the right place. Like, she stands out so much. Like, she, you know, she's in heels and her dress, she's very like uppity. So the small town is a very small like beach town. There's lots of fishermen there, and her dad was like a fisherman himself, and that is how he died. So when she goes there, she and her sister both go and stay for the summer, and that is where she meets Brendan. Brendan is the captain of a boat, and he is very much like fisherman, like kind of like grungy guy. So they are polar opposites. He doesn't like her like right off the bat because of just how she looks and like how she acts, but they're drawn to each other, and you watch them go through the summer of like, she's like, I don't want to fall for this fisherman, and he's like, I don't want to fall for this girl, but their romance is so good. Brendan doesn't think that she can last in this town, and so she wants to kind of like stick it to him and to her stepdad and show them that she can. So she decides to fix up this local bar that her dad owned, and she starts to reconnect with her dad's past. She never really knew her dad because he died from a fishing accident at such a young age, and so she starts to reconnect with family and learn more about her dad. And as she's fixing up this bar, she realizes that she like really likes this town, and of course she starts falling for Brendan. And yeah, it was just so good. Like I said, it's like the perfect summer, just it makes you want to go live in these small towns. And I never was someone who liked a small town romance, but like these books, I'm telling you, it is so good. And there's a sequel that's called Hook, Line, and Sinker, and it follows Piper's sister, Hannah, and Fox. Fox is Brendan's like right-hand man. He's also a fisherman. Hannah stays with Piper for the summer, and while she's staying there, her and Fox kind of form this friendship that lasts over the next 6 months after Hannah goes back to LA to pursue her career. She's working for a film director, and so she goes back, but while she goes back and Piper stays in this small town, obviously for Brendan, Hannah and Fox keep texting and they keep their friendship going. And so when Hannah's job sends her back to the small town, she ends up staying with Fox for the few weeks that she's sent back. And that's where their relationship kind of blossoms. They know that they say that they're just friends, and Brendan has made it clear to Fox that he cannot pursue anything further with Hannah because he's kind of known as this playboy who just kind of sleeps around. But as the book goes on, their relationship kind of grows and they both realize how much that they want each other and how much it's not really just a friendship, but it's definitely something more. And again, like, summer vibes, romance, steaminess, it's all there. It's so good. I would definitely give these books probably a 5 out of 5 just because, like, it's something about a summer romance, like a book set in a beach town, like in the summertime. It's just so good. I love it so much. Okay, the next book I'm gonna recommend, I think this book kind of blew up last summer, but it's still such a good book that I'm gonna recommend it again, and because the author just came out with a new book, which is a new set of characters, new world, but still feels appropriate that I bring this book up. It's Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. This book follows Percy and Sam, and it's a second chance romance. Percy used to spend her childhood summers at her lake house where she met Sam, and they formed this friendship and then relationship. But she hasn't come back for like 10 years because something happened between her and Sam that led them to not speak to each other for a decade. But when she gets a call saying that Sam's mom has died, she goes back to the house, and it's there where her and Sam are confronted with their past and like with the future of what they're going to be, what happened. You don't really know what happens. As the book goes, you kind of figure it out because it's told in alternating timelines, so it goes back and forth from past summers to present summer. Obviously, when Sam and Percy see each other again, all these feelings come back from all those years ago, and it's just the perfect mixture of that childhood like crush that you have like on your best friend, and then, you know, it turns into this adult kind of steaminess, adult romance that's so different from a childhood crush. And it was so good. Like, I just think it's like it's set in the summer at a lake house. Like, what more could you want? And then super exciting because this author just came out with another book. It's not a sequel because it's different characters, different story, but that one's called Meet Me at the Lake. It just came out and I really want to read it. I haven't gotten a chance to read it yet. This book follows Fern and Will, who years ago in their 20s spent 24 hours together and basically like fell in love and had this whirlwind romance. And now Fern is in her 30s and she can't stop thinking about Will. But then she gets sent back to her mother's lakeside resort, and what do you know? Will shows up years later, ready to help. There's definitely going to be a little bit of like mystery as to what happened years ago that like led them not to be in a relationship or to pursue this relationship that they formed over literally 24 hours. I'm sure it's going to be just as good as her first book, and I'm super excited to read it. The little synopsis on the back says that Will is hiding something now, and she's like can't figure it out. She can't figure out like why he's so different than the Will that she knew like all those years before. Like, he's in a fancy suit now and like all this stuff. So definitely excited to read that one. So those are my summer romance recommendations. I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know if you've read any of these books or if you have any other summer romance recs. I'd love to hear them and read them. So yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.